Guys, congrats on Dolittle. Very much enjoyed it. It is thrilled to have you guys all here on both sides today.
Thanks, pal.
Let's start with the doctor. Robert, there's been so much intrigue on what you would do next after wrapping up your run in the MCU.
Yes.
What was it about Dolittle that made it that project?
It came up, and I was like, as usual, I'm about to do a movie if I throw the script across the room. I go, why did you send me this garbage? And I read it, and the script is good. And my missus is like, this is good. And then I was like, but how can I relate to this guy? And I looked out, and I basically live on a rescue farm. And I just look out, and the alpacas are looking at me, and I was like, all right. And it's a new adventure, something new to try, new degree of difficulty.
Mm-hmm. You're a big animal guy. You said you live on a rescue farm.
Yeah.
Did you rehearse with those animals?
Well, I mean, look, I can't talk to animals.
You can't talk to animals. No. How about you guys? Does anybody have pets? Do you guys talk to your pets at all?
No, I don't.
Because I feel like it's like there are two types of people in this world: those that talk to animals and those who don't. Am I the only one here that talks to animals?
I'm surrounded by sheep where I live.
You're surrounded by sheep.
Yeah, and they just sort of want the farmer just lets them wander around the streets. And so you come out of the house and there's one just looking at you. And that's kind of off-putting. They don't talk, but they don't have to.
And you don't talk to the sheep.
Yeah, I say it all.
Harry and Carmel, you guys are both relatively new to the game. Tell us about how you got involved in this one. I assume it was on audition processes for you. Were they pretty rigorous?
Yeah, I mean, we went for like 5 or so auditions up in London. And I didn't know what was going to happen really. Just went in there unexpected and sort of went with it. And then I got called, really luckily, to go for a screen test in Atlanta, which was amazing.
We're shooting Infinity War, or we're shooting Endgame, one of them.
Yeah. And I went there and just did my best. And every day after school, I would ask my mum, "Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything?" And then one day I got in the car, and then my agent was like, "Do you want to play Tommy Stubbins in Dolittle?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So it was like, it was a very, very like time-consuming process as well. It was a lot of waiting as well, but it's good because good things come when you wait, I guess. So.
Did you do your scream during the audition?
No, I didn't.
It's a very memorable scream.
Yeah.
Strong one, yeah.
It's very strong.
Yeah.
How about you, Carmel?
Dolittle was actually my first ever audition. I'd never done an audition
Wow.
before then, yeah. So, but it's good because I didn't have any expectation, you know. I had no idea that it was Universal with any of you guys. So I just thought, I'm just gonna go for it. It doesn't matter. I'll just give it my best shot. And eventually we did more and more auditions, and then I met Harry, and eventually I met Robert as well, and yeah.
How nervous were you guys when you met Robert for the first time?
They're barfing.
I think it helped because Robert wanted to meet us the day before the screen test, so when we went in there, we wasn't all shaken up because it's Robert Downey Jr. and we wasn't in there, so we could do our best. So it was nice to meet Robert the day before because I think that helped a lot.
Craig and John, you guys voice a squirrel named Kevin and a polar bear named Yoshi, respectively. Yep. Where do these opportunities rank on just like most surreal career opportunities?
Oh, this is definitely a feather in the cap. It's one of the biggest things I've been a part of, and to prepare, I slept in the park for 3 days. So it's different.
You found your inner squirrel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is like one of those cases where you get to have dessert for breakfast. I mean, even if it's a wet donut, it's still a donut. This was a situation where to be surrounded by such a cast and to be involved in such a project and to be able to be like, Yoshi's a positive thinker. He's seeks out friendship. He enjoys the quality of family. Like all the details in the movie. The reasons that I love the movie are special, and then to be able to, man, for me, VO work is always great because you're kind of isolated, but then you're let into the universe. Like you guys are there while it all happens, and you can see kind of what the movie's going to look like, and that's special. But when you do voiceover work, you do the best you can, and you kind of leave it up to the director and the producers to come up with this universe. And seeing the movie for the first time, it's magic, man. It looks beautiful, and everything goes together, and then you really get a definition to put behind all this animation. So it's really special.
You guys have both done plenty of work on animated films. You've done voice work in the past. Is the experience on like a CGI live action film any different, or is it the same process?
It's the same. You're working with the producer and the directors, and y'all collaborating and throwing each other lines, and I mean, you got the script there, but there's a lot of improvisation. I actually started out as a different character, but then we played so much that they wanted to make me a part of the whole voyage. So I switched from Fleming the Mouse to Kevin the Squirrel. You know, it's not the feathers on the bird; it's the freak in the beak.
Big switch too.
Did that feel like an upgrade? How did you feel about that switch?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love seeing what they've done with these with this movie. It's epic.
I will say Kevin the Squirrel had my daughters in stitches the entire movie, so I think you guys made the right call. Michael, speaking of kids, there are going to be kids all over this world feverishly rooting against you. Rooting for your demise when this movie opens in the movie theater.
That's because I come into every screening and just poke them in the head all the time.
Tell us what you enjoy about playing the rogue and specifically Mudfly.
Well, I get to just sort of watch him being him and just hate him. Just sort of steam coming out of the ears. I get to chase him around the world in boats. I mean, if it was a modern film, it would be cars. It would be a car chase, but cars are just boats that don't float.
You'd be trying to pit maneuver me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was just great fun. Great fun to be able to work with this guy.
The ensemble that you guys have gathered in general is just incredible. I mean, in addition to all the talented folks in this room, Rami Malek, Emma Thompson, Octavia Spencer, Kumail Nanjiani. I could go on for 5 minutes and just run out of breath. Robert, you're an executive producer on this film. How active were you in the casting? Are you making any of those phone calls?
My credo is like, that's why Raisin Bran has 2 scoops of raisins. It's like more is better.
Yeah.
If the more is this nice eclectic group of folks. Are you mad at me now? Are you plotting something?
I'm mad because originally I was playing Kevin the Squirrel. And then I got a phone call from Robert one day going,
We all went
sorry,
up for
man.
Kevin. He
Sorry.
baited us saying he was Fleming, and he'd already laid down the whole part.
That's why I'm mad.
Be honest. Did you
Yes.
tell Tom Holland that he had no choice but to be in this movie?
I always feel, and I have to say this is literally for every single one of you. It's such a, and tell me if you can relate. It's such a validation when someone says, "Oh, John's in that. I'm in." You just kind of go, "Oh," because I think we never want to impose ourselves. With Rami, we're friends, and I thought it could be a good role, but I also know he's been very busy, and I never want anyone to feel obliged to do something unless they think it'll be fun anyway. It's that give and take, But I'm also usually pretty game, which means if any one of you calls me up, chances are I'm going to turn it down twice. No, I'm going to think. Well, I have a relationship with Craig, and there's been some give and take. So you start, it is a community.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. It is. I will say it is therapeutic to hear you and Tom in exchanging lines again together after the emotional experience we all went through with those films. I'm sure for you guys, the fact that Robert was headlining this movie was a huge draw. Let's have a Robert Downey Jr. appreciation segment here for a minute. Let's pretend Robert's not here.
Should I go first?
Yes. Let's pretend Robert's here. Tell us what you guys appreciate about Robert Downey Jr.
Every day you turn up on the set and you have a vague idea of what you're going to do that day, and then it all changes. And it's just like, it's spontaneous, and you don't know what's going to happen. It keeps it alive and fresh, and filming can get, you do take after you're sitting around waiting to do stuff, and Robert just makes it kind of come alive, which is great. That's what you want.
I'll say we never know who we affect, and we never know how our actions affect other people's lives. And I was able to meet Robert early in all of this at an awards show when I was very much on the outside looking in. And you were nice and present and empathetic and understanding when no one else there was. And it just, you in that moment, you made my day. I never Very rarely do I take pictures. It's still a picture that I have and that I cherish, and it has everything to do with how you carried yourself as a human being, and that's really important to me.
Oh my God.
So.
Follow
Your
that.
turn, yeah.
Follow that.
I hadn't heard about it until Iron Man, but no, I'm kidding. The depths is like he always surprises you. It's like, and he never disappoints. And it's always, it's there's more there when it's like, damn, you've done Chaplin and Iron Man and what's the movie with the two girls? What was it?
Two girls and a guy?
Freaky
Two
Friday.
girls and a guy.
Wow,
He's
you're
going deep
really
on the
pulling
filmography.
me.
You know, stuff like, and it's just like and the choices he makes is always some, I think about, what's the one where y'all went to the army?
Tropic
The two
Thunder?
Tropic Thunder.
Thank you.
And
This is a
you
vote of
have
confidence that I appreciate.
one,
Private Benjamin. Is it that one?
This is a new twist on Inside the Actors Studio.
weird science, come on, man. I mean, it's all over the place what this man could do. So it's like, it's yeah, it was an honor. And it is one of those, it was like Robert Downey Jr. is doing, yeah, I'm in. You want to know the name of the movie? No, it's good.
What surprised you guys about Robert?
Just how like genuinely nice you are. You were always so helpful. I mean, it wasn't surprising because you just are genuinely a really nice person. But I mean, every day that we were on set, you always made sure that Harry and we knew what we were doing and that we were comfortable and that we were happy. And it really means a lot. It really
Thanks,
does.
Carmel. Wrap it up, man.
Anyway, I'm not just saying this, but Robert is actually like one of the loveliest people I've ever met, and especially going into this is like my first big thing, and it's a great introduction to start off with somebody who's so lovely and somebody who's so supportive and
Definitely.
a great companion, very very homely and very yeah.
And gave us great advice as well.
Yeah.
Call me on the next one when you're miserable.
I mean, I was told it was Robert De Niro, so it was only on my first day I realised it was him, and it was too late then.
Robert, I am contractually obligated to ask you at least one Marvel question
Yeah?
while we're all here
Good luck.
today. I mean, you brought so many millions of fans so much joy over the course of that run as Tony Stark. What was the most valuable thing that came out of that experience for you?
I mean, it's funny because we're going to even a deeper dive with Dolittle, but there's something about when a kid looks at you and invests you with these magical properties, because we're all so kind of, I'll speak for myself, broken and imperfect and just trying to do the right thing and kind of stay out of my own way. But when you are idealized, you realize, oh, it's not an obligation, but it's just, I mean, we've all experienced it. You kind of get to go, oh, all right. You get to stand up inside yourself and kind of try to live a bit of an example. And so it's really put me in check because I hate disappointing youth.
Mm-hmm. How difficult was it to say goodbye to Tony?
The contract was up, no problem.
That was it. Back to
When
Dolittle.
the wires stopped coming through, I was more than ready to let go.
Back to Dolittle. I mean, this film, I think it is a lovely movie to show kids, in just preaching the quality of animal life and taking care of animals. Yeah. What do you guys think it says about the value of animal life? I mean, we're going through a crisis right now in Australia. There are millions of animals dying. I mean, I think this can be a therapeutic movie in that regard.
Yeah. John?
So, you make a good point, but I said this in another interview. I never want to force the consumer to take anything away from the experience. I want them to be entertained. I hope everybody goes to Dolittle, and the great thing is for people of all ages and for people around the world. So massive audiences can go see this movie and be entertained. Yeah. And if they take away what you took away, that's really cool. If they take away a different message, that's also really cool. But I don't want to pontificate of like, you should watch this movie and get this moral result, because I think that's driving an audience member in a direction that maybe they don't want to go.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Just go be entertained. See Dolittle, be entertained.
Excellent.
Animals are family too.
And
That is
That's
true,
nice.
Craig.
All right, they're actually going to use that part.
All of our snippets are just 5 seconds, so that was perfect. You guys, this was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you all. Thank you very much.